So that brings us to the end of the video, guys. Thanks very much. Actually, no it doesn't. Let's just pause it there, get this thing rewound and remake it how I really want to make it. So you're joining me on a beautiful winter's morning here in southwest Scotland. During the winter months we get loads of really clear mornings, and they give way to sunrises like this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night wherever you are watching around the world, and thanks for keeping on watching. I just did the live feed the other day and I was nervous as hell, but I really enjoyed it. So if you were able to join me, then thanks very much, and if you weren't, then don't worry, I'll give you more notice next time. So I'm on my way to a farm which I love visiting because the farm is full of chat and the cows are in fantastic condition. The genetics at this farm in particular are fantastic. So stick with me and enjoy the rest of the video. Hopefully you'll see straight away why I love this place so much. Yeah, the facilities are slightly older, but you can see these cows are loved. They genuinely are by these fantastic people who run this farm. Come on, up you go. You need to lose some weight. Come on, up you go. Come on. That's a girl. Go on, up you go. So picking this first foot up, you can see straight away by those old modelling marks that this cow was trimmed a month or two ago. And if I pause the video right there, look at that toe, there's been a problem there. That's been a toe ulcer, and those blackish bluish marks you see all over the foot, or down in the bottom corner anyway, are pigmentation. That's right, exactly the same as her coat. She has black and white feet, just the same as her markings. And that old cracked area is an old toe ulcer that is well on its way to healing. So during the process of this trim, I'm concentrating on making sure that I do not over trim, but that I'm removing all of that loose horn entirely so that that old sole ulcer can completely heal. Now, the pigmentation is important. A lot of people might think that's a bad bit or a black bit or a rotten bit underneath, but it's not. That horn is exactly the same as the white stuff you see me trimming away right now. So moving on to this back right foot, you'll see that I'm trimming away those dew claws, those little horns that hang down from the higher part of the ankle. I don't always trim them, but I do if they're over about 20mm in length or so. It's not because they can go lame because of them, it's to stop dirt being attracted to them, because if they get too dirty too regularly, it can cause problems like infections or digital dermatitis. And if we pause it right here, you'll see the whole reason for routine trimming. That orangey part, right in the part that I'm modelling out, is the very beginnings of a bruise, and it's the whole reason for routine foot trimming. So we need to take off the weight from that area and make sure that claw is the same height as the inner claw, which hopefully I've done already. Now you've watched the last two guys, so watch this one by yourself, play it back in your head, and see if your narration is the same as mine. Well, hopefully your narration in your head was exactly the way that I was thinking about it. Moving on to this other front right foot, you'll notice that I just trimmed that outer claw ever so slightly to give it some stability, and the inner one is actually the one that's taken the most of the weight on the front claws. So I'm making sure that it is the same height as the outer claw, and by doing that I'll make sure that I reduce the risk of those bruises happening, because obviously bruises lead to ulceration, which can be a real problem in cattle hoof care. So a lot of you guys ask me, what does it feel like trimming through horn? Well, the closest likeness I can make is when you get an unripe mango, it feels very, very similar to this. It's a really, really smooth texture, but it is very tough. You can see the force I have to exert sometimes, especially right now in the background, to get right through that horn, but it's a really satisfying feeling when you're able to peel it away nice and smoothly like that. Now if I show you the before and after here, hopefully you can see the comparison. There's not a huge difference, I know that, but you can see how reduced in height that heel is on the outer claw. So guys, hopefully from watching this video you've learned pigmentation doesn't just mean the colour of their coats, it also dictates the colour of their hoofs. Their hoofs can be completely black, they can be completely white, or they can be a mixture of the two. And pigmented horn is no different from white horn, you just treat it exactly the same, and you certainly don't treat it as rotten horn and try and trim it all away. That would end in severe problems. Beautiful. It's so satisfying taking a hoof that looks slightly rough and producing the perfect kind of work of art in my eyes. It's so satisfying taking feet that aren't completely perfect and returning them to as perfect as they can possibly be. And by the way, the reason I stopped the grinder disc like that is purely for safety, so that it's not spinning when I put it back in the holder. On this last foot, it's obviously quite a bit rougher than the other ones, but I just wanted to show you that the process is exactly the same. You just take back everything you can so that the dorsal wall of the front of the foot is about 75mm long, and then you make sure the weight distribution is identical between the two and give it a nice wide model to get that weight off the pedal bone and make sure there is no chance of bruising. And that, guys, really does bring the video to an end. And hopefully you can appreciate this stunning scenery that was my drive home from this farm the other day. This is the heart of the Galloway Forest, and that huge monument is called Murray's Monument. It was actually named after a shepherd's son who was an amazing mathematician. I bet you when he was up there looking after the sheep, he never thought that they would build a huge monument in his name. Guys, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Go check out the new channel. The link is in the description.
or swim in cold water.